I'm going to add our guest. So welcome to the show, Daz. How are you? Daz from the Light Paper.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for having me on, bud.
That's all right. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know, obviously, I just got you on at last minute, but obviously, I thought it was quite. Obviously, you got a new thing coming out, and I thought I'm going to get you on rather than messing you around with this next week and everything. But what, Daz? Just what's your opinion then, just on that? I don't know if the Tory Party conference is just gone. What's your point on? What's your take on that? On Kemi Badmanock and obviously and all the other nonsense that's going on.
I'm losing signal just as I'm about to speak. Can you still hear me?
I can, but I think you're frozen. Let me just start re-add you to the stage. Let's see. Yep, now I think you're back now. I think you are. I mean, don't worry. That's a really good smile that you're giving me.
They might not even want to hear me. I don't know. Listen, anybody that votes is mentally ill, unless you're like 18 or something and you don't yet realise. But anybody that's seen just a couple of elections.
Oh dear, we've lost Daz. We've lost Daz for time being. Let's just wait for him to come back. Saying that, so let me go on to the Light Telegram, because obviously I want to prepare for his. So Daz has an upcoming. Also, I've got to mention as well the Standing a Light early bird tickets are out. If anyone's interested in going that next year, 55 quid 4-day event. We're going to wait for Daz to come back on. And obviously, if people don't know, Daz is basically the editor of a newspaper that the mainstream media are not too happy with people basically reading or being given out. And add Daz back on right now. Daz, you back? How are you?
Not bad. I opened the door because the van's quite insulated, so you never know, it might work. You might get more than 3 seconds out of me.
Yeah. We were just saying, Daz, just to sorry, I keep forgetting myself. We're not on UNN. We're on unprecedented TV, so people might not be too familiar with you. Do you want to just briefly just introduce yourself and obviously talk about what you do and all of the many hats that you wear, if you wouldn't mind?
Sure, very, very quickly. You've got the Light Paper on screen there. We just celebrated our 5th year in publishing. Over 60 issues every single month. A huge team of dedicated voluntary distributors hand it out and deliver it and what have you all over the country every month, because we want to get the truth out. So get involved with that, please. What else? Obviously, we'll come to what we're doing new shortly, but we've just announced the lineup for the next year's Stand in the Light Festival, which I run with Fifi from Stand in the Park. That's going to be amazing. It's basically a big get together for truthers in the Lake District every May bank holiday. It's absolutely ridiculously successful for 2 years. Choppers are coming for me. What else do we do? We've got a band, which we've just changed the name of to The Light.
That's a great name, Dad. That's a great name, The Light. How did you come to that name choice?
I always hated the name The Daz Band. It was a silly throwaway, tongue-in-cheek, moniker, and the band's kind of, it's developed and we've got better and better and all the rest of it. So, to be honest with you, I'd like to go and play truth festivals and get people nodding their heads and really enjoying the music, and then obviously delivering the message of the lyrics of truth, hope, freedom, justice, love, all that stuff, all the good stuff. And we think they really will enjoy it. So it needs a name that's obviously going to actually reflect something of what we do. So thanks for that. I'm glad you. I mean, not anybody said keep the current name, so it was definitely the right move. And then what else? What else are we doing? Obviously, we are launching our own audio only online radio station shortly. We can get to that, but we are looking for more people to get involved. with presentations and the news team and whatever else, everything that goes along with a radio station. But it'll be very, very simple and straightforward. Doing that with a superb guy called Chris Crooks, who's actually managing the station. Because the idea is to get the truth out in every single medium that's available to us. If you do poetry, if you do sculpture, if you do whatever, it doesn't matter what you do, and turn your hand to it, or just go out on the street and talk, hand out some newspapers. If everybody did that, I mean, there's certain times, Warrington, Stockport, I think Bexhill, Burnley, and there's a few more that are out there every single week. On a Saturday in the towns with the papers, Stockport do the roundabout, whatever. But if every single town did that, just takes 2-3 people from each area to go, come on, let's go get the truth out, because so many people are lulled into going online. And look how many people are agreeing with me, and you can't reach anybody new online. It's you might get one person, and they stick out like a sore thumb, and they're normally really aggressive and horrible, and they'll go, "What is this conspiracy nonsense? Get back in your cage," and all the insults everybody. And obviously they get hounded out. It's not a good way to. But people don't act like that in real life. Yeah, you talk to somebody on the street. Well, not very often, and not many, but people don't act like that in real life. You have a chat with them, you can see that you're a regular person with obviously different views and different experiences, which used to be the case in this country or anywhere really before social media has completely warped our brains and removed our ability to accept the differences and still not hate you, or still not think you're the enemy or what have you. But people have been trained to do that now, and if you get out face to face, even in pubs, supermarkets, I don't care. I always say, don't go to the supermarket where you can afford it. Go to the farm shops and the butchers and all the rest. But wherever you meet people, or just set aside a couple of hours every week to go out with a couple of local people that are also awake and go plant some seeds, go sow some seeds. It's the only way we're going to win. It's the only way we're going to win. And obviously, it's a labour of love doing the light paper. It's definitely the best job I've ever had. But it's also obviously quite intense, and there's a lot of people that rely on it, which is great. It motivates us to make that paper absolutely brilliant every single month. So yeah, hi Kenny.
Daz, just quickly, what is the I know I've been on the website before, and it is a good website. I didn't mean to reply to you on that. I thought I would tell you on air here. What's the website for Clear Air FM, just to show people?
It is clearair.fm.
It's clear. I've just been. It's .fm. Okay, cool. Let me do that then.
Yeah.
I've just been trying to find it, and obviously because it's probably a new website and stuff, I just find it difficult in the search engine.
Okay. Yeah, if you just put clearair.fm in the address, the website's pretty much built. We obviously it gets tested out and what have you, and we're launching officially on the 27th of October. We're going to do a daily news summary, which will sound exactly like the BBC, but instead of filling you full of nonsense and propaganda and lies for the agenda for those that rule, it's by the people for the people. So you will hear a nice, lovely, plummy news voice telling you the exact truth about what's going on with everything. Obviously, we're gathering a team who want to, help with the items that we'll put out every day. And that will just the actual news summary will go across social media. Thanks to our friend Kenny there as well, who's volunteered. Or nearly all this stuff is voluntary for most people. Obviously, with the radio station, if we can get if we can get it going, obviously, and then get advertisers in, there will be some money, but there's no backers. It should be reassuring, kind of, but there's no backers, there's no corporate sponsors, there's nobody big behind it. I know, anybody that knows, this isn't the alternative media knows that TNT was very, very successful at one stage, but closed down because their main backers said,
like a shooting star it was.
We don't want to do.
The thing is, right, because unprecedented TV, what we're on now,
yeah,
it was almost born from TNT, from the downfall of TNT, because obviously Lempet Opeg, was obviously former Lib Dem MP. He had a show on TNT radio.
Yeah,
and it was great. You had people like David Curtin having a show. You had Basil, who was on earlier before me. You had various Johnny Vengamore, I believe his name was, and various other people had shows on it. It was great, but
Yeah.
What I observed, and I'm no media expert or anything, but me and David Clues and other people, what we observed was that it basically ran before it could walk. Almost there was a big. I say it was like a shooting star in the sense that it burnt so brightly, but then it also went out so fast because, again, it got too big too quick before the framework. It was almost like the metaphor of like you're building a road, but you're putting the cars on the road before the road is even built. Only some of the roads built, and then it turns into dirt track or whatever. Like it was like that basically. Obviously, I think it just grew. It grew too fast, too quickly.
I don't think there's anything wrong with growing too fast. Look, the light paper went from 20,000 in its first issue to 200,000 within a year. Which is just incredible. But we weren't built on somebody coming in and saying, "Here's £50,000 or here's £20,000. Do loads of copies or what have you." It was built because people wanted to get involved, and it's kind of self-sustaining now. Again, if you've only got one main backer and that main backer says, "No, I don't need to cover chemtrails. I don't need to cover, the vaccines anymore," whatever that backer says, and you go, "No, well, either we're for freedom of speech and we can say what we like and expose the truth, or we can't." And obviously, some of the great names left, Sonia Poulton and Abby, and then and you just it fell apart like that. So I don't think it's a case of fast growth. I think it was more a case of too few streams of income. With the paper, we have advertisers, we obviously have bulk orders, distributors who order the paper themselves, and then a few people donate. We have subscribers, and so on and so forth. And I've always said, as long as everybody wants the paper to continue, the distributors, the subscribers, everyone wants to read, everything thinks it's a good idea, it will continue. No matter what the numbers are. We're already going back up again, purely because I think of the digital ID push. I actually think, I could talk for hours and hours. Maybe I'll have a show one day. But with the digital ID push, it's become so obvious that that's what they're doing out front. There's obviously going to be pushback, and in the background, they'll never have a centralized digital ID. But you'll need a digital ID to get your benefits and get your pension and eventually get your bank account and all the rest of it. So without it ever being called digital ID, you'll have to prove your identity, if you like. Your phone, your app, whatever, will be tied to your driving license is a digital ID. It's got all biometrics on it. Your passport has, so. There's this thing about interoperability, and we've got it in the paper coming out, this week. Ian Davis exposing, what they're really up to, because it's political suicide, quite clearly, for the most unpopular prime minister ever to come out and say, "We want everybody to have a mandatory digital ID, and you're not going to be able to work." Everyone's going to go, "No," and we push back, and we're going to feel like, we've won.
Do you know? I don't know if you.
And then the thing is, the guard is down. We've got to remember that the rulers, these people that want complete control over us, are smart people. They're not going to make silly mistakes.
The theory is why Starmer announced that, because it's weird that, first of all, he is a very weak leader. He doesn't have a very strong mandate. His approval rating is extremely low.
I don't think he has a strong record anymore, thanks to the Ukrainian boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's partly to do with that. So there is a belief out there that the reason why he announced something so ridiculous, because Starmer would not have he doesn't have the force behind him really to basically roll out something that draconian and dangerous, right? But the belief is that what was happening is that there was a donation scandal where basically there was, I think, almost a million pounds undeclared by a group called Together with Labour, and basically to get away, because that scandal alone would be enough should have been enough to get rid of him, and also possibly face criminal charges as well because of this very high donation fund. I think it was £750,000. Okay. That wasn't declared, and basically that then was used, the digital ID announcement was used to basically distract from that scandal because it's so ridiculous. Like you say, the networking, the framework of digital ID basically already exists. The physical thing of a digital ID is really unnecessary because you have so much other things, like you said, the driver's license, especially if you're on universal credit, etc., and all of that. It's like there's already a very tight knit sort of framework that's already in. So for him to announce that, it also instills a layer of fear into people. I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, oh, I'm a bit worried about this because the jobs that I do, it will require, digital ID and all of that. And again, it puts fear into people as well. So it has that sort of multifaceted sort of benefit as well by announcing something like that. But I was going to go with this. There was something else I was just about to say, then I totally lost it. The universal income argument, right? So if you were to ask me like about 10 years ago or something, and about people who abuse the benefit system, I would have gone, oh yeah, horrible people, you shouldn't do that. Nowadays, I've sort of very much changed my belief in that, because I do believe that basically the state is stealing money from you practically every day via taxation, or other sorts of hidden kind of charges. And I always say that, look, if you can basically take advantage of that, then fair play to you, mate. Because obviously we know that if you don't claw back some of the money that the state has already stolen from you throughout the decades, it will be that money, that tax money that's stolen off you, will basically be used to fund all these draconian kind of policies, and obviously, obviously the hotel situation, all that with migrants that will be given to, and all of that. So you might as well do it. But the problem with that is that I know quite a few people who do this, take advantage of the benefit system, is that you become a little bit too hooked on it. Then you think that, oh yeah, it's only a little bit of a side hustle, they don't in a way, but then you become reliant on the money. And then I've had conversations with people now who go, oh, it's going to affect my PIP, or it's going to affect my UBI, or it's going to affect this. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't have basically created a lifestyle for you that basically relies, because now I'm personally not on anything. That's not me trying to look down on anyone or anything like that. But it's simply because you unintentionally become subservient to the state. That the state essentially becomes your boss in a way. Do you know what I mean? And then if you say anything bad and all of that, that's the only problem with that.
It doesn't make sense to go, God, the government's terrible, and it's a blah 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 blah, and I go, thanks for my wage, thanks for my benefits, thanks for the money. If you depend, I mean, they'll say that oh no, we've got to crack down on the benefit cheats, but ultimately they want everybody on benefit. I mean, AI and computer software, just advanced computer software, will end up taking a hell of a lot of jobs. If most of your job is on a computer, then that computer is going to take your job. That'll be able to do what you can do. And that includes teachers, doctors, who are obviously moving more and more towards, get on the computer and get on Google or AI, all that crap. Then you're basically training it to replace yourself. Now, so they're going to need, politically, they're going to need, we're going to have a universal basic income. When they do the crash and all the rest of it, massive unemployment, blah, blah, blah. We're going to build back better. Here's your, digitized currency. We've wiped out the debts. Everybody's starting afresh. It's a great reset. They'll use all the buzzwords, and there may be some new ones. And then they want everybody in universal income. And then they've got you. So what's the antidote to that? I mean, we could talk about the problems all day. What's the antidote to that? Taking back your responsibility, exactly as you said. I don't take the benefits. You don't take the benefits. And look, every situation is different. Some are disabled, some look after disabled children, blah, 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 blah. But we all, if you understand the situation and where it's going, we all need to find a way to change your lifestyle so you're not dependent on the government or the corporations or any of it. And that could be some people might be able to do that tomorrow. Some people say, well, okay, I don't see how that could happen, but imagine 2 years or 3 years down the line where you start today and you start planning so that you're not dependent on them, and that's responsibility for everything. Don't depend on the supermarkets for your food. Don't depend on the government for your income. Don't depend on try and be as self-reliant and self-sufficient as possible. And if you have to make serious changes in life, then that's what we've got to do. Everybody's in a different situation. I've been through them all. I've been through quite a lot of them. But it's down to each of us at the end of the day. They want us collectivized. They want us as a group. They want us poor. They want us hungry. They want us desperate. And it's down to you to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live in that world where I depend on them. So if they say I need to take vaccines to carry on getting my benefits, you can say, go screw yourself. And if you're not going to be able to do that, then what are you going to do? We know how harmful these things are, and it could be that. It could be anything. It could be, you want to homeschool your children. Well, unless you can't do that anymore, because we're going to stop your benefits. So you've got to send them to school, and we're going to teach them about 27 genders and just other unscientific nonsense. At the end of the day, keep your choice. And we don't have to wait for the new world order to drop. We don't have to wait for digital ID to be, a thing, or digitized currency to be a thing. Get started now. And the more that do that, I mean, I can't change anybody's life for them, directly or anything, but only you can change it. Only you can make those changes that you need to make, and that's the most important thing. Take back responsibility. Take back your power.
Daz, just quickly, obviously, some people have just jumped on. You've got, so as well as I'll tell you one thing just before we go on to that thing, is that this digital ID, I've actually been really surprised by a lot of people who have come up to me, not come up to me, but, through conversation. And they're people that we know in the, whatever you would call, I prefer to call it the freedom community. I hate truther community. It sounds so cringe and up one's own arse. Yeah, I just call it the freedom community, right? So, but there's people who've been generally, they've let the fear in. Do you know what I mean? And they're generally worried about, I might not be able to keep my job and all of that. And I'm like, I'm totally prepared to do what I did back in 2020 and refuse to wear a mask at work. And I'm not doing this, and I will suspend it. And you know what? I regret nothing. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it again. I don't care. And people need to get that out of their,
be strong. Have courage. Have courage.
But I can't believe it. I can't believe people have been like going, I might have to get the digital ID in order to keep my UBI or keep my job.
I know there are people.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. There's so many people
in the freedom community who went on marches who probably had a COVID vaccine. They probably got saline one and they're all right. But I know that some relented for whatever reason. Because I don't
dislike them for that, right? But it's because some people wake up differently at different times, don't they? So I'm not.
Sorry, I don't mean somebody who they took the vaccine and then they woke up. I'm talking about they were already awake, they were already aware, but they relented because they wanted to do this and that and the other. And in the end, hopefully, they found out that they didn't need to do it anyway. Nobody needed a vaccine to go abroad. Nobody needed a vaccine to keep the job. Obviously, care home workers got sacked, but a lot of them have been, highly compensated. Those that took them to court, all the fines that everybody, was issued by the police. That everybody that contested them, if you paid them, they paid them. Thank you very much. But all those that were contested were rescinded. Same as, I don't know if you know about the ULEZ fines. Now they've been contested in court on legal grounds, for what have you. Again, it's a story in the paper coming out this week, and you can reclaim your fine. I go into London twice a year or something. They send me a letter, it goes in the bin. I don't care. I'm not interested in paying fines for driving about for living life. You have you have to take the bull by the horns, and this should be your most common answer to everything that the government want. No, not doing it. No, go away. No, not doing it. Well, if you don't do that, then you can lose your job. Okay, well, I'll take you to court, but whatever. But then protect yourself and insure yourself.
Oh, Daz is has on that note, he's left us. I think Daz is live streaming from his van. So I think that is possibly the reason why for his bad connection. I wanted Daz to obviously just quickly touch on his Standing a Light Festival. And obviously people have just jumped on. If people don't know, Daz also, once he jumps on again, and then I'll let him go shortly after if he does come back on. He obviously runs he has created a pro-truth, pro-freedom music festival that I personally quite like a lot. So, and obviously it's at the end. It's on the May bank holiday at the end of May, the last weekend of May, and he will be having. I just wanted to quickly just for him to promote it. If he's going to jump back on, we can listen to. I'll tell you what. I just saw that his Clear FM has music. Let's listen to some of it. See what.
Blah 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 blah.
Well, exactly. I suppose we could all share stuff.
Did he genuinely accuse you of child abuse?
On before.
Yeah, one of his.
So radio
show. That is slanderous material. You should be taken to court for that.
Yeah, I'm indoctrinating my 2-year-old that doesn't understand.
I wasn't aware that
about the stuff that the schools teach them and stuff like that.
Wasn't aware that.
Having a laugh, for God's sake. I did several of them actually outside the 5G tower, but do you know what? I'm not going to upload any of them. I had a creative head on today, and I just thought, just for fun, and I'll call it Nanny's Curriculum. Just 2 little reels for fun, but I can't cope with the hate. And they're all out there, or they're always going to be. I've put things up before, like when my 99-year-old nan was alive, and she was paying me £15 a week to do her cleaning. I filmed her one day, and I said, as of next week, it goes up to double to £30 an hour. And it was obvious I was joking.
Yeah.
But people were all saying, you charge your nan 15.
Cool. I'm going to listen at some point. I'll tell you what, hopefully Daz will be back. Let me run a little ad on behalf of for Unprecedented TV, and I'll be back quite shortly, guys.
'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go, but I'm leaving on a jet plane.
Daz, I'm going to add you back now, mate. Yeah, sorry, I thought I'd just run a little ad for Unprecedented TV for Austrian Airways. No idea where airport they run from, but there you go. I've just been told to run an ad, right? So there you go. But I was just listening to, I didn't know, because I thought this was all, in the future to come. I didn't know Clear Air FM was live. Now I didn't know it was up and running. It's like, how long has that been up and running then?
No, it's not really live. It's just us testing it. I mean, you can go and listen to it, I suppose.
But Shelley, obviously, yeah, they record. But even so, even though it's not live, it's still recorded. I didn't know that you actually had it up and running.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we needed to get everything tested out and what have you, and the dev said, we kind of need to make it live, but without obviously promoting it and what have you. Not many people are going to find it. So, yes, you can listen to it, but the official launch is 27th. But while we're on, if you've got independent unsigned music and it's truth freedom based, if you are already a podcaster presenter and you want us to syndicate your show, and it's brilliant, we'll add it to the schedule. Get in touch, we'll add it to the schedule. If you fancy making a show, I know we've talked to you about it, Sean, as well. But if you fancy, doing a show, it's audio only. We don't do video. Then by all means, get in touch. You can see the email there, clearairfm@protonmail.com. Give us a shout. And again, it's another. It's another medium channel. It's another way for us to hopefully get more truth out to people. it's one click and it's on all day. Like I say, a mix of music and talk. We're going to have a daily news summary as well, which should, like I say, that we're going to put that part out across social media, and hopefully that will generate a lot of interest, because, like I say, it's going to sound like the BBC, but they're going to be saying things like, an alleged false what looks like a false flag terrorist event has happened today it didn't look like it happened that day, by the way, because I know Yom Kippur and the Jewish calendar is one of the busiest days at the synagogue, and there were about 2 people.
What's your take on that, Daz? What's your opinion on that?
Another fully fake false flag hoax show. I don't know the name of that YouTuber. He was brilliant from years ago. During the teens, he used to take the piss out of all of the false flags, every single one. There's none of them. Charlie Kirk, 9/11. I mean, you name it. If there's a big event that happens, it's staged. There's a patsy. Do people die? I don't think so. I watched that video a few times, watched it with the sound off, and you can see it's been edited. Just on the first part, there's a cop with a yellow helmet. He ducked behind the car. It pans back, and suddenly there's 3 cops there, and you can see it wasn't taken on the day that they said it was. It's just so there's always clues, but everybody falls for it because it's emotionally fear-based. I'll be called an anti-Semite right now, or you have no respect for the dead. Well, I don't believe anybody died. If people do die, I do have respect for the dead. The respect for the Palestinians that are getting slaughtered in their hundreds of thousands right now, and excused by, I presume, a lot of people that may or may not follow this show, by patriots. How somehow it's there's no nuance. You can't be against mass immigration and the crimes some of them commit, and obviously the destabilization that's caused in society, and yet at the same time absolutely condemn the rogue state of Israel, which is on a land grab, and forcing the Palestinians into the sea. It's imperialism, and people can't see it. People can't see it because they're on our side, aren't they? It's okay. It's okay. Which the good guys do, and it's like the Trump supporters. It's okay that Trump's was on the Epstein list. He was only he just wanted to know what was going on there. He just wanted to keep an eye on them. That's right. And it's okay that Trump's funding mRNA, Pfizer, and all the rest of it, because he's one of us. He's a good guy. Got to get away from this cult of personality nonsense. Yeah, where whoever Farage is the next big one you were talking about at the start. Farage is the guy that they want to bring in, the closed door of the technocracy, because he's going to be very popular. Starmer's going to do even worse stuff. They're going to make him.
I know. I mean, like, people thought.
Do you see that?
Trump was the perfect guy.
Yellow hat. Just duck behind the car. When it comes back in a second, there'll be 3 coppers there. Where have they come from?
I know. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Just go back a time. There you go. Watch the yellow hat. Disappear behind the car.
Yeah.
Why is he hiding? Why is he helping that person? Right. Then just play it to the end, and he goes back and back again, and then all of a sudden there's 3 coppers there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have enough. The video's not long enough But yeah, I've seen the video that you're talking about. I just thought I'd get something up just to show give you some visual aid as to what you're talking about. I mean, like, you said about Farage, like with Trump, people went, Trump's the perfect guy to have him for presidency, so thought the people, because he never started any new wars, which is actually not true. First of all, right? He didn't start any new wars, but what he did was he expanded the military budget for all the wars that he inherited from Obama, right? So he increased the budget, the war budget, essentially, to continue those wars. I think there were 7 conflicts the US was engaged in at the time, and he increased the budget. Being a pacifist or any of this nonsense is totally BS anyway. But people thought, okay, he's a good guy. He didn't start a new war, so we want him. But then that's the perfect guy you want then, because people will think that this is like Farage is going to be the same. People think, oh, when Farage is in power, he won't bring in any digital ID. He won't start any new wars. He won't do it. He won't increase the deficit, the debt, the national debt, and all this. Right? He'll stop the migration. He'll stop all that. So he's the perfect guy then, switch and bait, to just do totally the opposite. It won't shock me if under him more migration comes in, legal and illegal. Right? That will probably be. Because at the end of the day, like I do think, right, and maybe call me naive or foolish, right, but I do think Farage at least has some morality in some way, at least more so than what we've had over the last 20 years or whatever.
If they don't have anything,
but still a con artist in the end of the day. But I do think he does actually like his country a little bit than the others. But at the end of the day, we all know how this works, especially with Jeffrey Epstein stuff and all that, is that they'll get something on you, they'll set you up in some way, and then they'll have that blackmail. And then they'll basically say, look, if you don't do what we say, we'll either use the blackmail or we'll just kill you. That will be it. Or we'll just kill you and your family. That's what they'll do. And that's why it's a total poison chalice. There's no point, even if people that we know, such as David Curtin or even Piers Corbyn, for example, or any, it doesn't matter if they get into power. Because like at the end of the day, there are hundreds of thousands of civil servants and other wrong-uns, MI5, MI6, all of this, is that they can't find any blackmail on you. They're just going to basically stick a gun, literally, or not metaphorically, but quite literally to your head and just say, look, we're going to kill you and your family if you don't do what we say at the end. That's it. So you'll be looked after. You'll be looked after. You'll have all the money, you become a millionaire out of it more so. But you'll be looked after well. You'll be protected from our goons and all of that. But if you step out of line, that's it. We'll just give you the JFK treatment or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? It'll just be that.
Yeah. Well, as we say, look, so again, I like to try and stay solutions focused and not despair people too much. It's like what we're going to do. As I said right at the start, voting is for the mentally ill, and you said the right phrase there, into power. Now, if we take that power away by non-compliance, by non-compliance in your life, yeah, and millions and millions and millions of people that walk the walk, don't just talk the talk. We don't wait for the new world orders to come or whatever. I mean, it's already in place anyway, kind of thing. But obviously, it's just going to get worse and worse. If you take their power away, because they have the power that we give them. Government says this and what have you. Now there are the majority of the population still think the government is God, and if the government says this, you've got to do it. But at least in our community, at least for people that value freedom and talk about freedom, and that's 1 million or 2 million people, we don't walk the walk. I mean, a few people do. I know I certainly try my best. But not enough people walk the walk. They still work for the government, still take government benefits, and they don't need to, or because it's just it's the line of least resistance. But you need to take back your own power, and then they don't have any power. It doesn't matter whether it's Starmer, Farage, Badenoch, Corbyn. Doesn't matter who gets into power because they won't have any power. All they'll be able to do is direct their own civil service or their own, and that's all the government is supposed to be able to do. By the way, is make laws for the government, not for the country. They should have no. He used to meet 3 or 4 times a year just to address local grievances, things that go on locally, and it could be sorted out. And obviously to have a national defence when kings wanted to start wars and things. But it's never the people of the country that want to start a war. So we need to take the power. We need to take that power back. And when I say we, that's you individually in your life. There's no mass movement we can make. We know that. There's no political party we can make that's gonna solve things. You know what I mean? And if one comes along, it's controlled. Any movement that comes along and it's big is controlled. It has to be. The only solution is individual. The only solution is each and every person going, I'm not going to stand for this shit anymore. I'm so sick of taking orders from these crazy lunatic people. They tried to kill us all. They lied to us, and they're injuring children every single day. Oh, you've got to have your vaccine. You've got to have 6 vaccines, 20 vaccines, and then they're getting brain damage. And then they have all these nice euphemisms to call it autism. Autism. Oh, it's brain damage from vaccines. And councils are falling apart because they can't pay for all the special needs that the children need. These people are criminals. Stop giving them a pass. The police that don't go and arrest the criminals, they're just as complicit. Now, it's not our job to go and arrest them or whatever, but it is our job to say, don't take the vaccines, don't do anything they want us to do. It's an evil, corrupt world that we live in, and anything that they offer and anything that they push must be 100% rejected, obviously by you as an individual, and then tell your friend and your brother and your sister. And I know what it's like. None of my family are awake, but luckily, well, I don't think they can take any more. They took the first 2, but I don't think they're going to take any more. And it's not just the vaccine; it's everything. The poison in the food, poison in the water, blah blah blah. You know, all of it. So it's down to each of us individually to take back that power. You're giving it to the government. We're giving it to the you know, health services. You know, which is basically a sales front for big pharma. And you know, it pains me when people, you know, when people say, you know, oh, whatever, when they're showing that, you know, they're not taking responsibility for their lives, and the government will happily step in. The new world order will happily step in and say, yeah, thank you very much. We'll look after you. No problem at all. We'll look after you. We'll look after you.
Yeah, I totally agree, Dad. I think that's it's definitely the statement that to leave you. But before you go, Dad, just again, because people perhaps just entered on the chat late, you obviously do, as well as the many hats of you running the Light Paper, now this Clear Air FM, obviously the Daz Band, or the Light as it's going to be, the band's going to be renamed. And tell us about, you run a festival as well. Tell us about that quickly.
Yes, well, I run a festival. Certainly, I started it with Fee from Standing the Light. It's an absolutely joint enterprise. In fact, she does way more than me. And her fiance Andy as well, who's you know, is involved, and then all the team who come and, you know, who volunteer to build the thing. We start with a grazing field in the Lake District every year, and within a week, we turn it into a freedom music festival. And you know, last year we had 1,000 people there. They had a brilliant time, even despite the rain. But obviously, we'll just make sure that people bring big long stakes for your tents this time, or, you know, do what me and Sean have done and get yourself a van. It's brilliant. You don't have to pitch up and put it down again. Just turn up, you come and party, you drive away again after 4 days. It's an absolutely brilliant time. Eclectic music. We've got a dance tent. We've got a live tent. We have opera and drum and bass and rap and, you know, oh god, you know, just everything, jazz, soul, funk, you know, all sorts. It's an absolutely brilliant time, as you can see by the brilliant video that I think Siraj put together. I'm going to give a shout out to Jenny Zoom, who made the backdrops for us, Danny, who's graced us 3 years running, and there's Fee there.
There's Fee drinking a Stella.
We've just that lady's brilliant. She turned up. All her mates were going to turn up on the first one. They all puffed out. She came anyway. She had the best time. And then obviously, you know, last year she was like, yeah, I'm back with my friends. I think she did bring people this time. We've just released the early bird tickets. They're only going to be on sale till the end of the year, and then it's going to go up to like nearly 100 quid. 55 quid for 4 days camping and full program music and workshops and all the other stuff that we do. There's bouncy castles for the children. No Hope Sussex this time, unfortunately. There's Katie Joe from Hope Sussex, and DJ Jerry and all those guys. Honestly, it's brilliant. If you remember the marches, if you're on the marches 2021 22, Matt, if you're on the marches, you know that spirit. You can see that spirit's there. But, you know, obviously we're together for 4 days, hanging out, making new friends, seeing old friends. Everybody has a brilliant time, and I hope you come and join us this time. How's that for a pitch?
That was great. That was a great pitch. You know what? Funny memory from the festival just gone. Standing a Light just went in May. There was the conscious rap tent. So obviously, yes, if you were an individual who is a rapper, but talking about truth, dropping some truth bombs, right? You're a conscious rapper, as opposed to a comatose rapper or whatever, right? But it obviously was quite windy up in the Lake District there, right? And the conscious rap festival blew away.
That's the 10 there.
I know. In my mind, I didn't see it blow away. I didn't see it blow away. But in my mind, the conscious rappers were like running after the tent whilst rapping at the same time, like whilst running after it. That's what happened. And they blew away with it. They hung on to it, and it was like a kite just flying in the wind whilst they were spitting some truth lyrics. That's what I see in my mind when I heard it blew away.
Massive props to those guys. Obviously they were that good. They blew the whole tent away. Boom.
They blew the house down, mate, with the truth.
Aye.
Yeah.
So, Arky's just said, yeah, he was part of the crew last year. I hope he come this year. I put them tents up. God took them down again.
Brilliant.
I had one last anecdote from that last year. Piers Corbyn, you know, bless him, he's 70, God knows what now, and his tent blew away as well. He's hanging out by the kitchen. He's like, do you know anybody? Do you know I can stay? And I'm like, go on, you can stay in my van, Piers. So he ended up basically commandeering staying in my van for 2 days.
Where did you stay?
We got the there was a static on site last year. I don't think it's going to be there this year, but there was a static on site. So John said, you know, get in there with the fam, and it was great because obviously I've got you know, when you've got young uns, you know, it's a lot better. But I think we'll be in the van again this time. So it's just a little bit more cramped, but you know, we've got all the facilities. By the way, two major changes for this year. We're going to have hot showers out in the field for everybody. Obviously, there'll only be 5 or 6 of them, so you have to queue up or get there early. But it is a chance to shower. And we're also putting a bar at the back of the main live marquee as well. I say a bar, you're going to be able to buy cans of beer and bottles of wine, basically. And the lovely Fee has got her license for that. So you won't have to go off site. Still bring your own, by all means. We're not going to do bag checks and turn into, you know, a Nazi bastard, a Nazi fascist type festival like most of the others. But you know, once that's run out, you're not going to have to go off site because we'll have plenty on site as well for you. So improving every year.
That's brilliant, Dad. I'm going to put the link into the for people if they want to obviously purchase a ticket before the price raises from 55 to wherever it's going to raise to. I'll get my ticket probably after the show now. on that note, but Daz, thank you for coming on, man. Obviously you're busy.
Pleasure, anytime.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, and hopefully, I'll listen more to that Clear Air FM to see just for interest's sake as well. So hopefully, people again, I'm all about co-opetition. I know technically, unprecedented is a competition, but it's all about creating an alternative to. It's actually quite shocking, really, when you become aware of, because basically all of these other radio stations and other. Even game shows and sports games and all of that you realize that we do live in this Hunger Games like society where basically everyone is simply a propagandist. And I was listening to BBC Radio 2 just the other day. I just happened to be somewhere where they were pumping it through the stereo, and I was listening to Tony Blackburn, famous DJ. And he was saying about he just for some strange reason just felt as though he had to tell people that he's had his 17th COVID jab, 17th, which personally I don't believe, or even I don't think they're even. I think he's lying. Or if he has had 17 physical jabs, to the point he's going, I've had to use both arms, and all of that. And I just think that they're just placebo things. Basically the whole thing is just basically. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets paid by Pfizer or Moderna or whatever, Johnson & Johnson, in order to promote that kind of junk. So, but it's weird how he just brought it up. That had nothing to do with the conversation at hand at the time. And all these people are essentially just propagandists. All those game shows, the footballers, everything. They're all just don't see them as presenters or athletes or whatever. You just see them all, just blanket them all as propagandists for the current regime. That's all they are, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If you think about it, just very briefly, if you think about it, we know that you don't get somewhere unless you're part of the establishment, unless you're connected or unless you do certain things. So anybody famous, anybody that's on the telly, that's got a huge following, know that they are disgusting criminals of one kind or the other. They might not all be child rapists, although a lot of them will be. They might not all be, whatever, but they're on the take. They are shilling for farmer. They have committed crimes that they should be in prison for, but actually guarantees them a place of fame and fortune. And as I said, Steve James, who made a great documentary on the Daz Ban all that time ago, I said at the start, you know, when I grew up, I wanted to be a rock and roll star, and I wanted to do this, that, and the other. And then, you know, obviously, once I woke up, I realized, God, that's the last thing I want to do is be a part of any music industry or any or whatever, or be on the telly all the time or what. I mean, I'll be on the telly like once or twice for Flat Earth or whatever. But you know, if you're regularly on the telly, on the payroll, you are. Oh, everybody that's awake should look at them as disgusting, bribable, blackmailable criminals who've done some disgusting things that keeps them you know, where they are. And when they go off piste, off reservation, like say Britney Spears or Michael Jackson or who's it, Randy Quaid, Hollywood actor, they get unpersoned. I feel like they get slagged off in the media. They've gone crazy. They're not one of us. They're anti-Semitic. They're child blah 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 blah, whatever they make up about them. But anybody that's still towing the line, I don't care if it's Keir Starmer or Nigel Farage or I don't know who the big pop stars are nowadays, or the big rap stars, whoever's in the charts, they're all scumbags. So you know, big up yourself, big up your friends and family, make yourself better. You know, because you can get, you know, talent is not innate. What we're drawn to is innate. You know, so obviously, you know, we're all different, we're all unique, but everybody can develop the talents that they want to develop and get pretty good. And to be honest with you, again, the Stand in the Light Festival is a brilliant space, a brilliant showcase for those who, you know, do want to be musicians or do want to be, you know, artists and what have you. And you know, it's not the only Freedom Music Festival, but we've created a space for you to come and play, and for an audience that wants to hear real music from real people. So yeah, that's you know, it's another string to our bow, I suppose. You know, you won't ever see me with red shoes on, put it that way.
Indeed. Well, Dad, I think that's a good way to end. Thank you again for coming on, mate, and hope good luck with the new upcoming projects as well.
Thanks, man. God bless you, Sean. Have a great day.
You too, man. Thanks very much. Take care. See you soon. Bye.